So we are back. We're back on the Didn't Get the Memo sofa.
Absolutely.
Back on the podcast with yourself, Roy Ledgister, and my good self, Tom Howard. And it's come to my attention today that you've finished your book.
Book's finished, all done, 30 days. Actually finished it in 25 days. The last 5 days were sort of going back over bits and pieces and realising that I've duplicated bits, and so a bit of editing really, yeah. But yeah, all done and dusted.
So 25 days and you've gone start to finish. They said it couldn't be done, it's been done.
It's been done.
What I want to know for the next few minutes is some of the challenges that you were up against when writing a book, because I'm guessing, having not written a book myself, writing a book about something that you live your life by is harder than it sounds, because you do it every day. You take it almost for granted that you do it anyway. When you have to put pen to paper and write down what it is you're actually doing to share with other people, it becomes a lot more difficult. So talk to me about the challenges that you were up against.
I think, the main challenges that I had, because I'm just sort of vomiting all down onto a page as it comes into my head, and so I'll do a chapter on discipline, blah. But the main issue I had was that there'd be a number of stories that I'll tell, for example, and maybe the same story that I'll tell for discipline that I'll tell for commitment. Yeah. So I'll do chapter 1 and then I'll get down to chapter 7, and because I'm going at it at such a speed, I'm telling the same story again. So I'm reading the book thinking, I've told that story already, and then I've got to go back, and so that was the biggest problem I had, if I'm all honest, in all honesty, right? So it was less about finding something to say. It was just because I didn't really plan it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I set off to do this, I thought, all right, I can spend 2 days working out a plan, which I probably should have done on reflection, because I ended up spending 4 or 5 days at the back end.
Hey, look, book 2 will be easier.
Book 2 will be a lot easier, a lot easier. But so that was a challenge. Also, life gets in the way, right? I worked out how many words I wanted to write. So it's over 50,000 words. Okay, so it's a full 200-odd page book that I've done in 30 days. Now, I sort of calculated how many words I had to get done a day, but life gets in the way. So you've got, I've got school runs to do. I've got to go and watch kids play football. I went abroad. I was abroad. And because there were problems with the airlines out there, I had to sit in the back of a car, effectively for like 20 odd hours. Right. And we were stuck in this traffic jam. One incident, massive snow everywhere. We were stuck in a traffic jam. There's an accident on the road. So I just jump in the back, whip out my laptop, just start right away. There's another chapter in there.
Anybody else in the car? They're not.
There were 2 others in the car. Yeah, so I swapped places with whoever was in the back.
What's Roy doing?
Yeah, exactly. And I told him I'm writing a book. Why are you writing? You're doing? I'm writing a book. I've got to get this book done in 30 days. 30 days? Can't write a book in 30 days, which was how the conversation went. Anyone I spoke to saying, "Why are you writing a book in 30 days? You can't write a book in 30 days." And my point is, well, you can't write it unless you write it, right? And if you write it in 30 days, then evidently you can write a book in 30 days. So those were the challenges. And then so it's just trying to catch up, and other things were sliding. The time that, because I wasn't getting in the time in the evenings, certain mornings when I should have been training like an hour and a half session, I've cut it short. So I'm only training for 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I'm thinking the book. I've got to get the book done, Things were slipping all over the place, I'm not going to lie. But I had to make a decision, which and I have this saying, which is the most important thing is to make the most important thing the most important thing. And to me, right there and then, I'll let you digest that for a moment.
The most important thing is to make the most important thing the most important thing.
There you go.
There we are.
Right. How simple is that?
Crikey, yeah.
Just repeat it 3 times, one sentence. Genius.
Well, we'll put that on the screen, shall we?
Yeah, exactly.
The most important thing is the most important thing.
The most important thing is to make the most important thing the most important thing. So as I'm
on the screen.
On the
now.
screen, exactly. But as I'm compromising on other things, I'm thinking, what's the most important thing? And I just stick it. And this is why it was so important to write this book in 30 days, because it extracted the key components of the philosophy. So if you've got a goal, what's the most important thing to you? You stick to that goal. If other things are going to slide, let them slide. But you make sure that what you set out to do, you get it done. So people say, why are you writing this book in 30 days? I had to write it in 30 days because the 30-day challenge and demonstrating that it could be done in that time was as important as the rest of the content of the book, because it epitomizes what the philosophy is all about. Debunking Convention, where they say it takes this amount of time. No, it doesn't. It takes as long as you take. There's going to be challenges. How are you going to deal with them? So as a point of... The mechanism for producing the book was as important as the book itself. If that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. So, okay, so your book is complete. Where
complete.
is the book right now, other than on your laptop? It's been sent off, I understand, to the publisher.
Yeah, it's it's awaiting final bits and pieces to go off because we need to make sure it's sent in a particular
manuscript.
form. Yeah, you've got to get the page set up and all sorts of stuff, right? So the next process is to get the author copies.
Yep.
So they'll come back to me, then I'll have another read through the book. That's what took a long time as well, reading the book.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote this book, and then when I realised, okay, I've got a couple of days to read it through, or 3 days, I had to read a book. I had to read a full book in those days and edit it, which, I don't read a book in 3 days or 4 days. It takes me a bit longer than that to read a book. So I had to squeeze that in. My head was hurting. The last day, I was so slow because my eyes couldn't focus. I kid you not. And I'm looking at the laptop and I've got my glasses on. I can't focus. I take the glasses off. I can't focus. My head's hurting. Glasses on, glasses off, glasses on. I was doing that maybe 5 times every, I don't know, maybe once every couple of minutes, glasses on, glasses off, because I couldn't focus, I just couldn't see.
I know family's important to you. Were they understanding in you writing this book?
Yeah.
You're doing full days at work, you're travelling for work, you're doing your 5 a.m. disciplined workouts. Yeah. You're obviously then adding in book days in your week.
Because my life was
to write the book.
As it was, yeah, no, they did. They were very understanding, and my wife will speak to me and she'll be like, "It's okay, I'll leave you to it. You're not in the zone." She's not getting anything from me. Because it's the most important thing was getting my book done.
Yeah.
And if my wife had to get ignored, right, officially this time now, so I could ignore her officially, right? She recognised that I had to do this, so I had to get it done. There's no compromise. That was getting done, and that's why I went after it.
Brilliant. Well, what we're going to do over the next few weeks, we're going to go through your book, chapter by chapter, starting with chapter 1. What is chapter 1 called?
I can't even remember. I think chapter 1. So I've got the preface, then I've got a little. It's an intro bit about me. In fact, yeah, I do remember it. It's a little intro bit about me, where I'm just talking about my sort of journey through life. I hate that word journey. It sounds so whatever. But it just talks about, because I have to set it out from a credibility point of view, right?
Sure.
If people pick up this book and this is a bloke who's written a book about his philosophy and what's he amounted to? Well, he's not doing much. Well, they ain't going to read my book. So I need to make myself credible, to tell them why you should listen to what I've got to say, first of all.
Got it.
Right? So that's the opening chapter, sort of saying what I've done and why I think you may want to listen to me. There's no point me selling a story if my story's rubbish, right?
No, I get it. You need to have credibility behind your story.
That's
so chapter 1 is
bit of background.
Why? Okay. And so we're going to read through that on the next episode of Didn't Get the Memo. Okay. And what I guess we want to know from an audience point of view is not just a read through, because people can read the book. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Why it's important for you that it's in your book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try and get behind. And
absolutely. I mean, another that is absolutely critical. But I think what I had a lot of challenges on, right, is speaking to people in the interim. And obviously I'd put a couple of bits out on social media where you said to me, so you're writing a book? And I said to you, well, it may not be a very good book. And people are saying to me, well, why are you writing a rubbish book? My mother-in-law keeps saying to me, why are you writing a rubbish book? Why are you writing a shit book? That's
not ready yet.
Yeah, and I was saying, well, it's not a rubbish book.
Yeah.
And she said, but you said it may not be good. I said, yeah, it may not be great, but it's not a rubbish book. I'm not going out to write a rubbish book.
It's better than the book she wrote.
Exactly, and the book it's better than the book I didn't write. So that was again, and it just feeds into what people think, right? Don't forget, Didn't Get the Memo is saying that convention, the conventional sort of the rhetoric, it doesn't mean anything. It's just all made up. It's all blah blah blah. But yet still we peg ourselves to it and use it as a threshold. So we think we're doing really well because society says it takes, I don't know, maybe 6 months to write a book, a year to write a book. If you Google it will say between 6 months and a year. So someone writes a book in 5 months, I'm really good. I'm saying, well, hold on a minute, that's all made up. If they said, if on Google it said it takes 3 months to write a book, all of a sudden people will write books now in 2 months, right? So my thinking was, just by getting this done, right, or in fact, when I'm speaking to people and when they're saying you can't do it in this time, that's exactly what a book's about, because they are buying into what is supposed to be the norm, but they don't even know, but we just adopt it as our own because we've read it somewhere, and that is what Didn't Get the Memo is all about. That's why that 30-day test, it produced everything in terms of evidence to support why the book is needed, because just speaking to people about it, you immediately get their responses, which is within the tram lines of what society says should and shouldn't be, what can and can't happen. There you have it.
There you have it. Thank you very much,
Cheers.
my man.
No worries.
Tune in to the next episode where we're going to go through Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Of
Me.
The book,
Chapter
which
1,
is all about Roy.
It's all about me, yeah.
So if anybody wants to subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, we're going to be all over that.
Yeah.
And you're looking out for Didn't Get the Memo on all of the various podcast streams, wherever you may get them. Thank you very much.
Do you know what? I had an idea as well for my
Go
second
on.
book. Because everyone said it's going to be a rubbish book.
Passing words.
No, well, yeah, exactly. My second book, I think I might call it This Is a Better Book.
Well, that's it.
Hey, there you go.
This is a better book.
This is a better book. It's a better
There we
book
are
than
then.
the first
Oh, look out for it.
Yeah,
Written in 24 days.
Yeah, I could actually write, and that's another thing. Sorry, I know we said we're finished, right? This is another thing. I know we said we're finished. Having written that book, bearing in mind I had my whole life going on, I could have written that book in 2 weeks.
Oh, well, hang on.
I could have written the book in 2 weeks. Seriously.
Challenge accepted then. So,
done it in 2 weeks.
whatever your second book was called,
Yeah, This Is a Better Book.
this is a better book.
Yeah. I might have to make it
14,
3 weeks.
14 days.
It might, have to be 3 weeks if it's going to be a better book. But I could have done it. I could have done it in a quicker time. So 30 days sounds great. It's not that great having done it now. I realised actually I left a lot on the table. Like
Well, by the time we've gone through your chapters in Didn't Get the Memo,
Yeah.
we'll have ended up with a second book, probably a
Exactly.
third.
Yeah, exactly.
By that point.
And by that time, if I've read the first one, you'll think, do you know what? It's not going to be difficult to write a better
Shit
book.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.